Hey everyone, it's Strawberry Bunnies. So today I'm going to show you all of my Fae books. I'm going to Ireland here in July, so I'm hoping to get some more fairy books. So over here is my little Fae garden. I have lots of fairies and gnomes. I even have trolls at the bottom because they don't like to be with each other. I don't have a lot of my plants in here because since I'm going to be gone like most of July, they weren't going to stay alive. So I'll have to get some new ones when I come home. So the first one we'll just go through here is the Fairy Oracle cards by Brian Froud, or Freud. Him and his wife Wendy are amazing. You'll see a lot of his work. I've wanted these Oracle cards for a long time. All of the paintings and fae that are in this are in the Good Fairy, Bad Fairy book. So there they are. I love these. I've wanted these for years, but I've never gotten them. I do not like the book in here to help you with the Oracle cards by Jessica Macbeth. Her interpretation of the fae and what she thinks they're about is ridiculous. But anyone who is good with Oracle cards will know you don't really need the book anyway. Then I have the Goblin Companion, A Field Guide to Goblins by Brian as well. And he's the guy that designed and came up with all of the goblins that are in Labyrinth, as well as he also designed the world of the Dark Crystal. And his wife, Wendy, is who made Yoda for the Star Wars. And they've also made some other characters like griffins and stuff for the Fairy Teller. Used to be this old show. But I love it because in this, it literally is just straight up all goblins. Look how cute. That one is my least favorite book. Then we've got another one by Brian called The Ruins of Elfland. And these tell a lot of Nordic fairy tales of fae and their personalities and what some of them are called. More on the Nordic side. And if you're wanting to know, there he is. So I discovered him through this book down here, which we'll get to, just fairies, but spelled the old fairy way. So then this one is the Pop-Up Book of Gnomes. I have a couple of these little guys. These are the guys from the book. And I also have a gold ornament from him. But these talk about gnome life. You can do stuff. And then I have the other book that goes with this. It's the big version of this. Here's the trolls. I don't know if you guys ever watched Gnomes, the cartoon. It's actually based on these books. So then, I didn't mean to grab this, but here's my old Wizard of Oz. So this is Hans Christian Andersen. This and also Brothers Grimm. This is a pretty nice book. I think my mother got me this a while ago. I love that it has the Snow Queen in it. Snow Queen's one of my favorite fairy tales. But I love how these have the old illustrations from old fairy tale book, the Blue Fairy book, I think is what it's called. The one that was in the 1800s. So pretty nice. Hans Christian Andersen is the one that wrote The Little Mermaid and The Snow Queen. So this is Castles by Alan Lee. He is the guy that illustrates and draws for Lord of the Rings. So this whole book is pretty old. This is all just castles. And the way he draws these things are amazing. He also helped, I think, draw in the fairy book that I'm going to talk to you about. The first one that got me started on all of Brian. But his artwork is definitely unique too. Lots of stories about certain castles, some that are haunted. Like this one, I think, is about the knockers, the little gnomes that live inside the mines. Here's the back. And David Day. Here is a twisted adult fairy tale called The Plucker, and this is by Brom. Brom, he makes a lot of, oh, jeez, dusty. Brom makes a lot of magic cards, Magic the Gathering, the illustrations. His artwork is pretty demented and kind of like a spin off of monsters and like southern inspiration, like Louisiana. This is just a story about this jester toy having to save a girl toy, and it's amazing. And it's really imaginative. He has some other books that are just his artwork, but this is like his only story. Okay, one of the most popular known books by Brian is Good Fairies, Bad Fairies. This side, all of the fairies are good, which are in the oracle cards that I showed you at the beginning. But what's interesting is when you get to the middle, the fae doesn't start to be good or bad, they're just meh. But then, if you flip the book over, these are all bad fairies. And that's Morgana Le Fay on the front there. And are they beautiful? This is the hobgoblin guy. He's supposed to be the boogeyman. What scares every child. And then some of these are just so funny. Like, some of these in here are just, you know, the fairy that clogs your sink or gets ink splattered on you. But some of these are like, this is the Glominous Doom fairy. Always think negative thoughts, and you'll think, why me? Foot Fungus Fairy. The Pen Stealer. Morgana Le Fay here. A whole spread of her. And I wanted to show you because there are a few of these that, oh, here we go. That no matter which way you turn the book, you're going to see a face. Like, there'll be different faces. So here we go. Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of cool. The book that started it all for me. There's a little bit of truth to that, but not really. My whole family is really huge on Fae. Our ancestors are apparently, you know, Silkies from Ireland. But I found this book when I was a child. This was the 25th anniversary edition. And I was at the Chicago Science Museum. And I was able to get this. And at the time, it was like really expensive. And this is Brian and Alan Lee. And it's amazing. Like, it goes into detail. All different types of fairy stories, different fae, wars fae had, like different appearances that fae can have. It even has some like fae fruit that you shouldn't eat. It's a whole page of leprechauns, goblins. And they have in here Silkies. What my family is, if I can find it. So I had opened this book to this page, and it's the first time that I had read of Silkies being in a book, besides just fairy tales that I always heard around my house or family reunions. to actually see this and have it in a book, I was mesmerized. I had to have this book. Oh, if anybody ever got scared as a child to not go by the water because of Jenny Green Teeth, there she is. There's one thing I wanted to show, which is really pretty. Kelpie! And like I said, it has plants and trees you should stay away from. Everyone knows that elder trees are not good. Same as old oak. And then we've got a photo album in the back here. And then this drawing is a fun little story that someone sent Brian about meeting this little sprite who didn't want him to cut down a tree. Then we have this one, Goblins of the Labyrinth. This book is so much money. Okay, so this book is all the artwork that was featured in the movie. This is actually Brian's son, who is Toby in the movie, and that's really his son when he was little. Toby now is a adult who makes sculptures of his dad's artwork. And Wendy, the wife, she also does sculptures of the creatures, and she comes up with her own too, you know. I'm trying to show you some pretty spread here. And here's some of the outfits that were going to be at the masquerade. Here's when he's dressed up as like a beggar, the Goblin King. And see, she's supposed to have like reddish brown hair, not how she looked in the movie. She is with Hoggle. And they're standing at the doors, getting ready to go into the labyrinth. Let's see, we'll do one more. Here's the one guy that like talks to himself and you have to put in the coin. Here is the Gnome book. That's off of the pop-up book, and these little guys. I'll tell you how old it is. 1976. It's amazing. So you can see where they got all the ideas from the movie. It tells you everything from what they ate, what their bathrooms were, what type of pottery they used, and this whole thing is supposed to be off of a person who gets really close to the goblins. Not goblins. Yeah, to goblins. And, not goblins. Why do I keep saying that? Or because I'm on the goblin page. Who gets really close to the gnomes, and he becomes friends with them like a human and documents their whole life. And it tells you the differences between everything. Troll, dwarfs, ghosts, what trolls are like, stories that they've had, gnomes helping people, even type, oh, there he is in the bathroom, type of songs that they would sing for different holidays. So it's pretty neat. This is the Leprechaun Companion. I hate the front cover of this. I think it is so weird. This is a chess game you can play. I love some of the like stories in here, but the artwork is just so harsh to me. And it does talk a lot about different leprechauns and stories about them and inventions they made and what parts of the world or in Ireland they're from. But it's not like my favorite. So we've got this one, the Fairy Companion, the Fairyland Companion, and this is by Patricia Philippotts, and it also has some of Brian's drawings in it, and this is from 1999. This tells a lot more, like stories, and that's an image you see everywhere. Different types of butterflies, how they travel around, the king and queen. Then these two are kind of similar. This is Lady Cotton's Press Fairy book, and then the photo album So this is supposed to be a true story of this girl who pressed fairies instead of flowers. There's some stickers and stuff from that, and a DVD. This is the photo album, which I have other stuff from that as well, but it's more about the pressed fairies. Old Peter Pan book. This is from the 1800s. Let me see if I get to it. It has even stories and songs. Here's another Grimm's fairy tale. I love the artwork done in this one. It's very unique. Here's like a druid, the girl. Then this one's kind of expensive too. This is The World of the Dark Crystal by Brian. This is from like, I think the 80s, like when the movie came out. And it is old. Maybe it might have been the 70s. I'll have to look. 1982. They did another version of this, like an updated version. But I don't have that one. I just have the old sketches. And lastly, I have the Trolls. And it also has his wife. She helped on this as well. So some of Wendy's puppets are in this, as well as sketches from Brian. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Bye.